Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today I'm going to be talking about our world is a zero-sum game. All right, so let me define my terms. So I just want to kind of lay out what I'm going to be talking about today. So one of the things I'm going to be talking about today is our world is fundamentally changed, right? So I think there's always this subtle debate between people who are like, is what is happening today the same thing that has happened for every other generation, just with a couple new twists or a new flavor? Or is this fundamentally different? Has the world truly changed? And I think this is a true change. We are dealing with, our world has fundamentally changed, okay? And by the way, everything I'm talking about today is specific to America, right? Now, the one thing I would say is almost everything that happens in America eventually slides out to the rest of the world in one facet or another. There are areas of the world that our things never come to them, or that they're really opposed to our parts of our culture. But by and large, what happens in America happens in one way or another in a lot of other areas. But everything I'm talking about today is for the American citizen, and really for the American citizen. Everything I'm saying, this is specific to American citizens. All right, so I think, and the reason why things have fundamentally changed in our world is the pace of change, okay, and the non-intuitiveness of change. So change happens at such an incredibly high pace today that it's incredibly fast. The other thing is the change that's happening is incredibly non-intuitive, okay? So that is new, and I really feel like there are a lot of people who are upset by this and are frustrated and they're stressed by this, and I have great sympathy for that, because legit, there's really good reasons. If you don't understand the shape of the world, it can be terrifying, right? I get that, right? So the other thing is, the change that's happening, by and large, I think it's good. Our world is getting better. There is less violence, and way, way, way less violence than there ever has been before. There are certainly sparks of violence that are upsetting and that frustrate and stress people. But overall, if you look at the numbers, our world is getting way safer. Look at our law enforcement in America, right? Our law enforcement in America now, in the 80s, there was like this thing where people were like, oh, they're outgunned and they're outmanned. That isn't the case anymore. Many facilities across the United States of America, our domestic law enforcement is outfitted like the military. Like, it's crazy. Well, not crazy. It's a good thing. It's, in my opinion, it's a good thing. So there are just some really severe changes happening, but overall, those changes are good. So one of the things that is happening right now is online, which is a massive change for our world. You see people who are debating things very vehemently, right? And they're debating things constantly. They're debating things at a high intensity rate, and this is frightening, frustrating, and stressing people, right? And so that's why I'm talking about the zero-sum game today. The reason why people are frightened, frustrated, and stressed is that they don't understand that the world is a zero-sum game, okay? Our world is a zero-sum game. So let me define zero-sum game and non-zero-sum game. Zero-sum game. Poker is a perfect example of a zero-sum game. The pot starts with $1,000. Everybody buys in for the chips, right? Let's say there's two players. One puts up $500. The other puts $500. There's $1,000 worth of chips on the table. When one player loses 200, the other gains 200. That is a perfect zero-sum game, right? And I'm saying that our whole world is like that right now, right? Now, a lot of people believe that our world is a non-zero-sum game, right? Now, what is a perfect example of a non-zero-sum game? Well, I did the research on this, and it's incredibly hard to even describe what a non-zero-sum game is, because there really aren't a lot of good examples. The best example I could find was if two criminals go in and they've both committed a crime, or if two people are pulled in by the police, and the police say, okay, listen, if it's 0 years, 1 year, or 10 years, okay? If one of you confesses and the other one doesn't, the person who if one of us rats out the other one, okay, that person will get 0 years and the other person will get 10. If the two of you both tell us nothing, you'll both get 1 year, okay? If the two of you... No, I'm sorry. If the two of you both say you're both equally guilty, then you'll both get 1 year. If the two of you say nothing, you both get no years. But if one of you turns on the other, the one who didn't turn gets 10 years, and the one who turned gets 0 years, right? So in this situation, in this non-zero sum, in this example of a non-zero sum game, it's best for both people to confess and get 1 year and get out after 1 year, okay? Now that's a crazy complicated example, and honestly, that's one of the reasons, like, go look for yourself. And if you can find an example, a perfect example of a non-zero sum game, please show it to me, because my research could not find one. And the reason why is non-zero sum games literally don't exist, okay? So to understand our world and why people are frustrated, frightened, frustrated, and stressed today, it's because many people have bought into this line that there are things within our world that are non-zero sum games. Win-win. Right? We heard it a lot 5, 10, 15 years ago. By and large, I think most people laugh at the idea of win-win nowadays because, it was popular. It was a salesperson line for a while. But the reality is, here's the issue. We live on a very tangible ball, a spinning ball of dirt that's hurtling through space. That's where we live, right? And all the resources here, energy, coordination, momentum, tangible goods, all of it are finite, okay? And even the things that would seem practically infinite, right? Like water, there's so much water, right? Sure, it's finite, right? But it would seem like it's practically infinite. There's more than enough for everybody. Should be, salt at least. If you could just desalinate it, you'd be fine, right? But the reality is it's not like that, right? Basically, even the things that would remotely seem infinite really are not infinite. And the reason why is time. Time is another big constrainer, and space, literally all the things of our life. Space and time make things finite. So even if there's tons and tons and tons of fresh or salad or water with salt in it, where it is matters, when it's going to be at a different place matters, all of that, right? And so that's the issue is when you see people getting upset, right? And you see this everywhere. People are like, it happened last year when we had the elections. As soon as the elections came, there was people who just jumped right in, and they were debating online, and they were saying, hey, I want this person. And the other people were like, I want that person. And then there was a ton of people who were like, I don't want to hear this anymore. I hate hearing this. I hate the debate. I don't want to hear it anymore, right? And then the other thing is The Last Jedi just occurred. Massive debate, right? Massive division. People saying, I love this movie. Other people saying, I hate this movie. And a lot of people saying, just let people enjoy it. It doesn't matter. Why do you need to tell other people why, if it's good or if it's bad? What's it matter, right? What I'm talking about today are those people who are saying, it doesn't matter. Let it go. It's all right. Let everybody have their own opinion. Or, it's all opinions are of equal value. And the reality is that's just not the world anymore, right? Now, the reason why we care about things that that some people I think would suggest are trivial is because, the triviality that they're supposing, it's not trivial at all, right? There are things that are happening now. These things, they seem trivial, but they're not. And the reason why is we as a society have advanced to the point where things that used to be used to be trivial, like art, right? Or used to be fairly trivial, are really not that trivial at all. They are not trivial today. And the reason why is we don't fight each other with sticks. We don't hit each other with sticks on the head anymore. And so that's the issue is our battleground has shifted to language and shifted to opinion on art and culture and society, right? And so now I think it's incredibly important to understand this. We also need to be civil and we need to be honest as we go into these discourses. So that's my opinion on the world is very much a zero-sum game. Take care.